100,000 dead, 2 million homeless. That's the grim toll in Syria after 2.5 years of violence. Since March 2011, rebel forces have been trying to overthrow President Assad in a bloody but inconclusive civil war. And now a chemical attack near the capital Damascus could change the course of that conflict. The US is pointing the finger of blame squarely at Assad, saying there will be consequences.
After careful deliberation, I have decided that the United States should take military action against Syrian regime targets. This would not be an open-ended intervention. We would not put boots on the ground.
And with those words, Barack Obama set off a chain of events likely to have far-reaching consequences. He was reacting to the use of chemical weapons near Syria's capital city, Damascus, on August 21st. Hundreds of people were killed by a nerve agent believed to be sarin. The White House says it has evidence President Assad's forces used toxic gas, but hasn't made that evidence public. Obama says Syria must be punished for crossing what he called a red line. But now he wants any action approved by Congress.
I will seek authorization for the use of force from the American people's representatives in Congress.
And the White House cranked up its efforts with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry making the case for action before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee earlier this week.
And I can tell you beyond a reasonable doubt, the evidence proves that the Assad regime prepared this attack and that they attacked exclusively opposition-controlled or contested territory.
But public opinion in the U.S. is divided. Even as Kerry spoke, protesters waved hands covered in fake blood to emphasize the U.S. will have blood on its hands if it strikes Syria. Obama has his supporters, notably French President François Hollande and British Prime Minister David Cameron, whose call for military action against Syria was rejected in the House of Commons last week.
Let me stress to people, this is not about getting involved in a Middle Eastern war or changing our stance in Syria or going further into that conflict. It's nothing to do with that. It's about chemical weapons. Their use is wrong, and the world shouldn't stand idly by.
But Syria's president rejects those accusations. In an interview with the French publication Le Figaro, Assad urged Western leaders to show evidence his force used banned chemicals. He said, "Whomever accuses must offer proof. We have challenged the United States and France to offer a single proof. Mr. Obama and Mr. Hollande have been unable, including before their peoples." China and Russia are among nations asking the U.S. not to act unilaterally.
Let them present it to the UN inspectors and to the Security Council. Saying they have such evidence, but it is secret, is beyond criticism. It is disrespectful to the partners and participants of international activities.
Assad supporters claim rebels used sarin to discredit the Syrian president and draw Western nations into the conflict. For its part, opposition groups accuse Assad of gassing his own people to cling to power. As the violence continues, the latest chapter of that conflict is likely to be written in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Congress is set to convene on Monday after the summer break to vote on President Obama's resolution.